You've been performing for so long, you forgot who you were before the applause. You don't need a new identity. You need to come home to the one you abandoned. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to recognize who you are. You are not an imposter. You are not a mistake. You are not a placeholder in your own life. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here today because what I'm about to share with you is something I need you to really sit with. Not just hear, but feel in your chest, in the place where you've been quietly holding a case against yourself for far too long. I want you to think about something. When did you first start believing you weren't enough? Not the surface answer, the real one, because somewhere along the way, someone handed you a verdict before there was ever a trial. They labeled you, they defined you, they assigned you a sentence, and the cruelest part, they convinced you to be your own prosecutor. That's what we're talking about today. The invisible courtroom that lives inside of you, the one where you are always the defendant, never the judge, the one where the charges were written by people who had everything to gain from watching you shrink. And I need you to understand that courtroom was never yours. It was built for you by people who could not afford for you to stand in your own power. Let me be clear about something. The imposter phenomenon doesn't just appear out of thin air. It is often planted deliberately, strategically by people who needed you to doubt yourself so they could maintain control over you. Narcissists are architects of this. They are master builders of self-doubt. They study you, they find your soft places, and then they construct a story about who you are that keeps you small, keeps you questioning, keeps you coming back to them for a validation they will never fully give you. And here's what makes it so devastating. By the time you walk away from that person or that environment or that relationship, you don't just leave with wounds. You leave with their voice installed inside of you. And now you're doing their job for them. You are prosecuting yourself for existing, and they don't even have to be in the room anymore. Think about the labels. Difficult, sensitive, too much, not enough, overreacting, dramatic, unqualified, lucky, a fraud. Those aren't descriptions of who you are. Those are weapons. They were designed to make you police yourself, to make you second guess every success, every achievement, every moment where you dared to take up space and believe you belonged there. Here's what I know to be true. Not because someone told me, but because I have lived this and studied this and watched it unfold in the lives of so many people who look brilliant from the outside and feel like an imposter from the inside. The people who try the hardest to make you feel like a fraud are almost always the people most threatened by your authenticity. Your realness disrupts their illusion. Your capability exposes their inadequacy. Your light casts a shadow on everything they've been pretending to be. So they build a case against you. And they are thorough. They gather evidence, selective evidence. They take your moments of uncertainty and call them proof of incompetence. They take your vulnerability and call it weakness. They take your kindness and call it naivety. And slowly, without realizing it, you start building the same case against yourself. You become a witness for the prosecution of your own life. But I need you to hear me right now. You have always been enough, not almost enough, not enough with conditions, not enough once you fix the things they said were broken. You, exactly as you are, with all of your history, all of your complexity, all of your growth, have always been enough. The deficiency was never in you. It was in the framework they used to measure you, a framework designed specifically so that you would always fall short. Societal labels are a system of control dressed up as a system of classification. When society or a person acting as society's enforcer slaps a label on you, it rarely comes from a place of understanding. It comes from a need to categorize what they can't control, to contain what makes them uncomfortable, to draw a boundary around your potential so you never wander too far past what they've decided you're allowed to be. And if a narcissist was the one who handed you that label, know this: they didn't label you because they saw you clearly. They labeled you because they couldn't afford for you to see yourself clearly. I want you to stop prosecuting yourself for the crime of existing loudly, for the crime of taking up space, for the crime of having gifts that other people didn't recognize or didn't want to recognize, for the crime of surviving things that were supposed to break you, for the crime of still being here, still building, still becoming. Despite every verdict they tried to hand down, you are not guilty of being too much. You are not guilty of being ambitious. You are not guilty of daring to believe that your life could be expansive and meaningful and yours. The imposter phenomenon is sneaky because it doesn't always feel like someone else's voice. By the time it's fully embedded, it sounds exactly like your own inner critic, your own rational mind, your own common sense saying, "Who do you think you are?" But I want you to start asking a different question every single time that voice shows up. Ask, whose fear am I carrying right now? Because that voice, it has an origin, it has a source. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't belong to you. You are allowed to release the labels. You don't have to carry the name they gave you. You don't have to live inside the box they built to contain your potential. A label is only as powerful as the energy you continue to pour into defending yourself against it. The moment you stop trying to prove the label wrong and simply start living in alignment with who you actually are, it loses its grip on you. You are not what they call you. You are not the summary they wrote of your life. You are the full story, complex, unfinished, and entirely capable of writing whatever comes next. I also want to speak specifically to those of you who achieved things, real things, and still couldn't let yourself feel the win. You got the degree, the promotion, the opportunity, the recognition, and somewhere in the back of your mind, there was a voice that said it was luck, a mistake, a matter of time before someone figures out you don't really belong there. That voice was trained into you. It was conditioned by every person who made you feel like your success needed an asterisk. You do not need an asterisk. Your wins are yours. You earned them. You showed up. You did the work. Own every single one of them without apology and without footnotes. And for those of you who are still in proximity to the person or system that built that courtroom inside of you, whether it's a workplace, a relationship, a family dynamic, I need you to understand that healing cannot happen at full capacity while you are still inside the environment designed to wound you. You don't have to make a dramatic exit today, but you do have to start telling yourself the truth. This space was not built to hold someone like you. It was built to hold you back. And you deserve an environment that is built to hold you up. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. The prosecution rests not because you've been found innocent by someone else's standard, but because you are dismissing the case entirely. The courtroom is closed. The trial is over. Not because you finally proved you were worthy, but because you are no longer willing to stand trial in a court that had no jurisdiction over your life to begin with. They wanted you to prosecute yourself for existing. They wanted you to be so consumed with defending your right to take up space that you'd never have the energy to actually occupy it. Don't give them that. Don't spend another day as your own worst witness. Put down the gavel, step off the stand, and walk fully, unapologetically, completely into the life that was yours all along. You have always been enough. Say it until it replaces the verdict they handed you. Say it until it becomes the only voice left in that courtroom. Say it until the building comes down, because it was never built to last. It was only built to last long enough to stop you, and it didn't. You're still here, and that is everything. Before you go, the Impostor Phenomenon Guide is a free digital workbook designed to help you recognize self-doubt, reclaim your confidence, and own every accomplishment you've earned. No fluff, no toxic positivity, just real tools that work. If you're listening on a podcast platform, the link is in the description. If you're on YouTube, it's pinned in the channel links as well. Go grab it. Friend, it's free and waiting for you. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin the work of separating who you are from who you've been performing to be, because it's time to stop performing and start belonging. Welcome to the work. Welcome to the becoming. Welcome to unmasking the imposter. Thank you for listening to the Impostor Phenomenon podcast. If today's episode opened something in you, share it with someone who needs this conversation too. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to go deeper, get ready to join our community where we're doing the real work of reclaiming identity, rewriting narratives, and rebuilding belonging from the inside out. Remember, you are not an imposter. You are not a mistake. You are the author, and your story is far from finished.